screen blacked out. We was like, what just happened? So we just want to say welcome to Real Estate Sips with Sandy and Shay.
Welcome back.
And this is what, sip number 7.
Yes.
You know, y'all know I love number 7 is the number of completion.
Yes.
And this is a very important show. So I'm telling you, listen, we believers. So God is about to give us a strategy to complete getting these houses.
And you would think that we would actually do this show first.
Right.
Because it's literally
Is the first.
Starts on the foundation of credit before you can even get a loan from a lender.
Right.
But I don't know why we didn't think of that,
but we're here now.
how many credit? Well, today's show, thank you. Today's show is all about credit.
All about.
And the important role that credit plays in getting you a home loan. So I know that credit can be used for many different purposes, but we're focusing today on how you can use it to actually buy a property. Okay? So, like, how many credit cards do you have, Shay?
I have 3 credit cards.
Because we pulled out our cards today, but we didn't really count it. You have 3?
Yep, I got 3 right here. Got 3 credit cards with me. I do have another one.
She's so colorful.
Yeah, I got that card actually because it was cute.
It's all matches your dress. Like the orange, the yellow, like no cap. Oh my gosh. I
want me a Discover card. I haven't got one yet, and I see 2 on the table, so it's confirmation I need one.
I got one.
I guess got a Discover card too.
Okay, so this one is a Discover for personal, and this one is a Visa for business. And these are both credit cards, and they're actually I have 3 credit cards altogether in my whole name.
Right.
I lost one. So I lost a credit card it's going on a year with Capital One, and I just never reapplied for it. I just figured, it'll keep me out of debt. So,
that part.
So what you plan on buying?
I don't know. I'm just planning on building my credit. I believe credit is just so important, not only when it comes to just buying a house, but I just believe that it's important to have good credit. And so I'm about to glean today from my guests because I desire to know credit. I want credit to just drip from me.
Yeah, like drip. Don't let it drip. Like I had 21 credit cards when I was your age.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See,
and I'm not afraid to tell my age. I'm 52. Like, I'm 20 years older than Shay.
But she's still young.
I had 21 credit cards, and I remember sitting on the floor, and I was going through my purse, and I literally lined them up, so having that many credit cards can help you, and it can also hurt you if you're not disciplined, and I was not disciplined. So today we're going to really dig into the ins and outs of credits, but I have a quick testimony.
Testify.
Where's the offering plate? So, I was actually just getting out of the military. Well, actually, since we're focusing on home ownership today, I'm just gonna focus on home ownership. But I had bad credit. Okay, I did, and I remember one of the representatives on the phone telling me that I would never be able to buy a house.
Oh, wow.
She spoke that over my life. And I mean, people have that is what would normally happen if you have credit that was not so good. But I had defaulted on my student loan because I didn't have a job, and just, things in life happen when I was younger. And it happens in older age too. But she told me, oh, you'll never be able to buy a house. I was like, the devil is a liar.
Amen.
And I actually, when I purchased my house, I actually had a credit score of about 530, but I went through a program. Oh. It was the NACA program. It's a very good program. NACA. They're still around.
But they discipline you.
Very disciplined. I had to literally explain all of my debts, and it's not like I had that many, but I did have some that wouldn't make me eligible by the traditional lender standards. So NACA, shout out to NACA, and all of you people that are using NACA home loans right now, keep the faith. Just keep. I know the market is terrible, but we're praying that something causes a shift, that you guys will be able to get a home, because it's a really good program. But yeah, credit cards, I got myself in big trouble with them. So now that I'm in my 50s, you know, I understand a lot more about it. I'm not so, a lot of my debts are paid off. So if I do have to use credit, I'm using it for business, and I'm using it much wiser.
Right. Now I grew up, and my mama had put the fear of credit cards in us. So we had no credit. You know, having no credit is not good at all, because we never did anything to build our credit. So she was
scared money.
Yeah, scared money. Scared to do anything that would mess your credit up, would keep you stuck and stagnated as well. So once I grew up, and I was like, okay, and I wanted to get educated about credit, and I realized you got to have it to purchase a home, and don't nobody want to pay rent all their life.
No.
So that's why we doing this show, so that we can get you, you know, prepared to purchase a home and get you ready to live life and have inheritance, so that you can leave to your children. All right.
And I'm so glad that she said something very powerful, guys, about her growing up. Her mom taught them to be afraid of it. But Shay, that is a very common thing, especially in African American households, where we don't have the luxury of the legacy of education to wealth. That's the key thing, the education to wealth. We're not teaching our kids from they have eating out of a spoon and in kindergarten. You know, we're not grooming them for wealth, but we're teaching them based on our experiences, the experiences of our generation before us, and how they never attained wealth. They definitely didn't, along with dealing with the discrimination of even getting and redlining, getting credit cards and being redlined in their communities, and all those dynamics that go into play. It has caused a certain level of fear. You know, it's like, I'm sad talking about it, but it's time to be educated. It's time to, you know, turn the key of knowledge and educate all races across the border, that if you didn't think it was possible, there's a positive way to use credit to attain home ownership.
And good credit, and let's just be honest, good credit changed your life.
Yes,
it changed your life. The topic of our show today is what I just love. It was so creative. Incredible.
Incredible. And you can even say having good credit is synonymous to being a person of your word. Because people are actually lending you money based on the character. Yeah, absolutely. So it goes hand in hand. I always speak the Bible. The Bible says a wicked man borrows and does not pay back his bills. That's scripture.
It is.
You know. So we can get in the word. But without further ado, we are going to bring to the sip table today's guest. Her name is Elle Childs, and she is a credit consultant from Credit Made Easy.
Ooh, I love that. Credit Made Easy, girl. So we're gonna cheers.
So these are Elle's credit cards. Okay, so how many do you have?
So in total, I have like 7, but these are just a few of the ones that
What's that?
I have right now.
Secrets?
I need one of those.
I used to have a Victoria's Secret account, but these are like I have Discover It Miles. I have a Wells Fargo Cash Active. That's a cashback miles. And then I have a American Express.
Okay.
And so that's also a cashback card. So
is that a black one?
I'm not there yet. I want to work my way up to a platinum.
Okay.
Okay. That's awesome.
It is.
That's awesome, though. So, let's dig into it. Home ownership. Which of the credit scores? And I know the answer, but maybe somebody knowing does not know. We'll start there.
Yes.
Which of the credit scores do lenders look at when they are considering pre-approving someone to purchase a home?
They're always going to pull your FICO score. More than likely, they're going to pull your FICO score. However, a lot of people are utilizing Credit Karma, which is going to provide you with a Vantage score. And the scores are going to have a little bit of a variance between the two. But when you're looking for a home, I always recommend that you pull your Vantage score. And your FICO score. You take a look at your FICO score and kind of get a better understanding of what your score actually is.
There's a free website for that.
Yeah, there is a free website. I believe it's My FICO Score. Is that?
Oh, it's not My Annual.
Well, that's if you want to pulling your credit report. My Annual doesn't provide you with your score. They will provide you with your free credit report so that you can look at all 3 credit bureaus. They will do that. You get one every year.
So what is a FICO score, Elle?
So a FICO score is going to be pretty much, it's very hard to kind of really explain it, because when you compare your Vantage score versus your FICO score, they look at different things. And some things are going to be rated higher and some things are going to be rated lower between the two. So your FICO is just going to be, it's pretty much focusing on your credit profile. So if you have a good credit profile, you're pretty much going to have a good FICO score. So they're going to look at all of your accounts, your inquiries. They're going to look at the debt that you owe. They're also going to review your personal information. So you want to go through and make sure you have no errors on your credit report as much as possible.
All right, we're off to a good start. But we forgot to
Oh, sorry.
All this talk about credit making me forget what I'm supposed to do.
That's funny, but no, it is. It's good. It's good
Oh.
that we talk about this, because we get a lot of people like that come thinking they know their score, with their Credit Karma, like, oh, look, I told you I'm a 7 this, I'm 7, and I'm like, then you run it, and then, the lender run it, and it's like, hold up, something is a little different. You ain't gonna get the house you thought you wanted, but
yes, it's true.
So we gotta really, really understand it, so that y'all start off with good stuff.
Well, I think Credit Karma, I only even consider that when it comes to a renter. And even then, I'm skeptical, because I have heard, I don't have Credit Karma, but I've heard so many times that they're at least 30 to 40 points below what your actual FICO score is.
Wow.
So
that's a big difference.
It's usually a variant between the two.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be different. And so I always recommend, if you're in the home buying industry, you should be, if you're looking for a home, FICO's the way to go. My personal opinion.
Okay.
So I do know that lenders look at the middle score.
Yes.
What do you know about that?
So the middle score is going to be pretty much a compilation of the scores, and then they're gonna, what do I want to call it? I'm having a brain moment. Miss Sandra, can you help me out there? The median. Sorry. So I'm sorry. I'm looking for the middle score. So they pretty much combine them, and then they pull the one that is more of like the median score.
So basically, if like I said again, I'm not a credit guru. I do not have a lot of credit cards. I've used a lot of them in the past. But basically, you have 3 credit bureaus.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's Equifax.
There's Equifax.
TransUnion.
Yes.
And Experian.
Yes, ma'am.
So if the Equifax score is a 600 and the TransUnion is a 650 and the Experian is a 700, whatever number falls in the middle chronologically,
yes, ma'am,
is the one that
is
they
the one
use for the house.
Yes, ma'am.
What about for cars? Which one do they use for cars? Do you know? Or?
So it kind of depends on which lender you're going to use, because some creditors will only use an Experian score, or they'll only pull your Experian score, or they'll only pull your TransUnion score. So it kind of just varies with what score they're going to utilize to run your credit against.
So do you know anything about mortgage lenders though? Do they use those bureaus when considering, because I hear you talk about Vantage and do they have like a different system that they pull scores from to determine what the middle score is, or are they using those three?
I am not 100% sure. However, I'm sure of the fact that they go through the credit bureaus directly.
So that's
and
why
they utilize they utilize the score of the actual credit bureaus.
So that's why you've seen successes by helping people repair their credit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
because I work with the credit bureaus directly.
So tell us how long you've been doing it and what exactly is the service, and talk about the company.
Yes, ma'am. So I've been in the industry roughly going on 2 years. I started doing a time where I realized that credit was very important. So in 2020, I was laid off from my job, my original position. I worked in corporate America, and of course, COVID-19 took place, and I was laid off at that time. And then I realized it's time for me to start focusing on my future, and I need to plan for the future. So I started doing a little research on credit. I worked on my credit first. I can honestly say my credit went from a 611 to a 740 now. And I'm blessed to have.
I remember those.
It was like it was quite low. I had several collections, so I went through the process. I disputed, and so I can honestly testify to building credit, taking your time. It is absolutely a process, because I didn't get to a 611 overnight. It was definitely a process, and so it was a process for me to get to the 740 that I have now. So some of the things that my company offers is that we work with our clientele to make sure that they are becoming financially educated, because even if I'm working on your credit profile and disputing and getting things removed, however, if you're still in a position to where you're not properly budgeting, and we're having late payments still occur, and you're still running your credit through different places, just going to Macy's and allowing them to run your credit for that extra 10% off that they like to offer you, things like that. If I'm still disputing on your behalf and you're making things worse for us, that's just something I don't encourage. But I work with my clients to educate them. I do debt negotiations on their behalf, and I try to make sure that I get my clients all on a budget so we can make sure we have a great future for them financially.
Nice. And the name of your business again? Credit Made Easy. Easy.
I love that.
So basically, your own personal experience led you on this journey?
Yes, it led me on this journey, and I'm happy to help people change their lives, because people really don't know how important credit is and how credit can actually get you where you need to be. Get you a home, get you a car, get you more lines of credit, because you need them just in case there's like an emergency or you need an extra few dollars. You have your credit cards there to kind of help you out or provide you with an emergency cushion.
Okay. So what does a credit repair entail when preparing and when purchasing a home?
Okay, so like Ms. Sandra touched on earlier, the free annual credit report, I recommend people go and pull that, because that's going to provide you with all the information that you need to see what the lenders are going to see, because they're going to see exactly the information that's provided to them. And so you want to make sure that information is accurate and you agree with everything that's listed there. And so there's common errors that you can see on a credit report, just as simple as your first and last name. And your first and last name could have simply been spelled incorrectly. You also want to make sure your social security number is correct on there.
The address.
Yeah, your addresses. And a lot of times what you see is, say, a man has a son, he named him Junior, and they have the same first and last name, and his father's debts may show up on his credit report. And so you want to take a look at those, because you can easily get mixed up with the wrong with your father or with someone in your family with a common name.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Some people actually do that on purpose. Yes, they have named their children Junior or some kind of the third or whatever, just to confuse creditors. I have seen people, I've seen them do it. I have met people who have done this, and I realized, wait a minute, You did that on purpose, just so you could. What's the word I'm looking? Commingle.
Yeah, commingle.
So you can commingle your bills with this child's credit history, so that it won't.
Absolutely.
It confuses people, and that's so dishonest. So speaking of which,
it's called a credit mix, and so
there's
it's a name for it.
A credit mix.
It's a credit mix. So if they get your credit mixed up with someone else's, and so you want to take a look at your credit profile, and you want to make sure everything on there is accurate, and you can stand behind it and say, yes, this is me. I did this.
So when I'm just, we're on this show, we are unscripted and we are raw and we are real. Okay. So we're going to bring, like I said, this is real estate and everything else. We talk about everything. So we're going to touch on honesty.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So sometimes lawyers have to lie to defend their clients, even though they know their clients are guilty. Okay. My sister is an attorney. I have tried to pick her brain about this. She's very good at what she does, but nobody's ever going to admit that they lie in their profession. So what I'm asking you is, if Bubba and Bubba Jr. happen to be all mixed up in their credit profile, and then say Bubba comes to you because he's now ready to buy a house, and he says, Elle, I did not borrow, I did not use that credit card, which, he knows that he did, but he's telling you, hey, can you get it taken off of my report because I don't want to be responsible for those bills anymore. What do you tell them? Because the reason why I'm asking, I see a lot of credit repair companies out there. There are multi-level marketing companies, and they are making a killing of people who just want to climb up the ladder of financial stability, and they are luring these people to lie about the debts that they have incurred. And that is a very dishonest thing. I'm not here to play the police or anything. That's my former life. I'm a realtor now, but at the same time, that stuff comes back to bite you.
It does.
And you would think that you're gonna close on a house and then something pops up, because there is a system in the back called LexisNexis.
Absolutely.
All right.
LexisNexis keeps a record of pretty much everything, and when you think it's disappeared off of your credit report, the credit reports, it's still being stored in LexisNexis, and it can pop up, and the lender can discover that even in the ninth hour, and you could be sitting at the closing table and will not close on that house. So what do you do when you have people like that? Like, I think you know what I'm trying to ask. How do you deal with that situation?
Okay, so what I do is I try to make sure we have a relationship first, because I want you to be comfortable with telling me the truth, because I don't want to know lies. Like, I need to know the honest truth. Is the account yours? If the account really is yours, then absolutely we can talk about some of the different routes that you can go to take care of the debt. So I do debt negotiation. So a lot of times I will offer my clients debt negotiation if the account absolutely positively is theirs. However, there are times when say you owe $10,000 to a company, or you had a $10,000 balance. And so maybe you paid $500. And so technically your balance should now be $9,500. However, the credit bureaus are still reporting that you owe $10,000 when you know for sure that you paid $500. So that's going to count as an inaccuracy. So what I would do is I'm going to find the inaccuracy, or you're going to advise me of the inaccuracy, and that's what we're going to focus on. We're not going to focus on the entire account. We're going to focus on the inaccuracies that are being reported to the credit bureaus, because that's what's mostly affecting you. So it's the inaccuracies that are bothering it, because if the account was actually reporting properly, that could affect your credit score. It could bring your credit score up because your debt has actually went down by $500, but it's not being reported that way.
So it's good on it's important how they report.
Yes, the reporting is the most important part, because when it's time to get the loan or find the lender, your lender's looking for your debt and income, like how much you're bringing in and what you actually owe, because they want to see how well you're going to be able to pay this back.
Okay, so then So Bubba could actually have a loophole out because he's actually not Bubba Jr.
Right.
And you would dispute that, hey, Bubba Jr.'s bills, even though Bubba created it.
Yes, even though Bubba created
in all reality, Bubba Jr.'s bills are reflecting on Bubba's account. And why am I using the name Bubba?
I don't know. You watch Forrest Gump?
Yeah, I love Forrest Gump.
But no.
I need to go to the But so there's a way to unmix that.
Yes, there's a way to unmix that. So what you would do is you would take the time, because once you pull your credit report, you'll see, and then you'll say, hold on. My dad had a credit card with Discover. I've never had a Discover credit card, but I remember him swiping for all my clothes when I was a kid.
Come on.
Oh no, this isn't me. This belongs to my dad. So my responsibility would be to dispute with the credit bureau that's reporting that inaccurate information, like, hey, his dad has the same name. This needs to be removed from his particular profile. So that's what I would dispute. However, if I was working on Big Bubba's, if I was doing both of their credits at the same time, I'm going to inform Big Bubba, hey, Bubba Jr. said that this account belongs to you, and what is this your account that's on his? Well, it's going to show up on yours.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they're going to remove it from his
and put it on
the right person.
On the right person. Okay.
He's gonna tell that's my dad's.
He's gonna get cut out of the will. Bubba Jr. is gonna get cut out of the will.
So what do lenders count as credit worthy?
Okay, so some of the things that they're looking at, they're mainly the gut of most credit score is going to be 35% of your credit score is your payment history. So if you have good payment history, you're not paying late, no 30-day late, 90-day late, 120 days late, 80 days late. So if
don't be late. Don't be late.
Listen, I ain't been there. Okay? I've been through hard times and economic crash. My 742 went to a 5. The number 5. No, I'm just kidding.
It seemed like when you get
down
to 5, it takes forever to get back.
It does. But
it's a struggle.
Don't get back up.
You can get back up.
Yeah.
It is, but it's a struggle from
We're
5.
living proof.
Yes.
We really are.
I'm up to a 6 now. Like 6.
See that? Still, I'm giving you a 5. Progress.
So with the lenders.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So what they're pretty much looking for, they're looking for your payment history because they want to know how well you pay people back. Even though they're giving you a loan, they want to make sure you get your house because they do want their money back in return. Right. They do not want to take your home from you. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for your payment history, most importantly, to see how well you pay debts back. And then that's going to pretty much tell them, whether you're going to be high risk or low risk. Of course, the higher the score, the lower the risk, and the lower the score, the higher the risk. So, but normally a lender can give you a home at a 620 or even below, depending on if you work with the program.
Even 580.
Yeah, even 580. So yeah, you can definitely get a home loan with any of those scores.
And the credit score, better the credit score not only reduces the risk, but it also gets you better interest rates.
Yes.
And we know interest rates are what makes your mortgage higher or low.
Yes. Absolutely.
So we put you on game here. We put you on game.
So the better the credit, the better it is.
And Elle, Elle,
Yes,
I know that you are partners with one of my very good friends.
Yes.
Adeoye Aramashudo from 3Dimensional Realty and also Aramash Financial Group and now Credit Made Easy. He's just so awesome. And he's a real estate broker. And I actually sold him his first investment property. He had no credit issues. And so it's so amazing that he helps people to buy homes by putting them on game like this. But what I wanted to ask you is, I'm gonna take a drink while my brain hops back on the train that I was riding. Oh my God! Somebody please speak.
So So again, so I know a couple more explain the services that you do offer.
Okay.
You already went over some, but just just in case somebody.
Okay, can you stick a pin? Because now
No,
I
okay.
remember that.
You're like, hold up.
I'm
Okay.
back in the building.
Okay.
All right, so she says, explain the service that you offer. Stick
Yes.
a pin right there.
Mhm.
What I was going to ask you is, how many times have you actually led people right to pre-approval? They're gonna get a home. They got pre-approved because of the process you've taken them through, and then they didn't close because they did something stupid.
That's a good one.
Goodness gracious.
My brain went left on that.
I mean, so many I can count.
Are you serious?
It happens. It happens so often. Like once you've assisted a client with building their credit and getting them where they need to be pre-approved, and say they end up with like a 720. Okay, we've gotten them there. We've gotten them to the peak. And then they're like, oh, I got a 720, everybody's like, oh, you should go get a car. Cause you can get good interest loans on a car. And they're like, oh, I'm driving a bucket. I'm gonna go get a car. And they're in the middle and they're about to sign. They're like, wait, don't sign so quick. It looks like you just got a car. So, and then I'm like, no, cause I always tell my clients, even when they're in the program before they graduate, I always encourage, do not open any lines of credit. You do not want to open any new lines of credit, especially when you're in a process of building, because you don't want it to affect the work that we're doing together. And then especially when you're buying a home, because you don't want to show any new lines of credit, because you've already said, this is what I can afford. This is where I'm at right now financially. And then when you go add a new bill, it takes down the money that you actually have to be able to pay your mortgage. Which increases your debt to income ratio.
Yes.
I actually know somebody personally.
Yes.
Like a couple of weeks before closing. Mm-hmm. Don't ask me why they did this, but they went out and opened a credit card at Sears, thinking that would improve their credit score, not understanding that they've already gotten pre-approved. They've already, like you said, the map, everything's already been laid out. And they weren't able to close. Luckily, the seller was compassionate and allowed them to rent the house that they wanted to buy. Then God is so good, because 1 year later, the market crashed. Yes. And they were actually able to buy that same house for way less.
Woo. Oh, that was a blessing.
That's a blessing.
It was a blessing. God. Yeah.
All things work together. Same kid.
Yes. For real. So that was a blessing in disguise, we may say, but it's definitely not how you should plan to buy your house. It happened. He thought he was doing a good thing.
Yeah, right.
He thought he was doing a good thing, but people who do it on purpose.
Yeah,
some people do it, in ignorance. So that's why this show is so important. So going back to the question that Shay asked you,
no problem. Okay.
Your brain hasn't left that point.
No problem. So what my program, we offer a comprehensive package. It's like an entire program. And so not only do I take a look at your credit report, I want you to be advised of the things that are on your credit report. So we do a full credit analysis, go over everything that's listed on there, make sure you're aware of the things that are on there, go through, check your addresses, check your phone numbers. If that's incorrect, your employers. And then we check your accounts, the debts that are currently listed, any closed accounts as well, because sometimes you have closed accounts that you may have not treated as well as you should have, but you actually closed in good standing. Those old accounts still affect your payment history. So you may either want to try to get those updated. So I update older accounts. I do debt negotiations for my clients. I've had a few clients that did some voluntary repossessions. I've seen those more often. And so that's when you give the car back without them having to come take it from you. Yes. And when you do a voluntary repossession, they may tell you, don't worry about it. It's not going to affect your credit. However it is, what they're going to do is that you're going to voluntarily give the car back, and then they're going to put it back on their showroom floor or on the lot, and they're going to attempt to sell it. And if the car was $10,000 that you owed, and they sell it for $5,000, you still owe $5,000 for the car. So even though you gave it back, you still have that loan to repay back.
So do they, with that $5,000, do they give you a 1099 for it, or they actually count it as a debt that's still owed and then sell it to a collection company?
They're gonna sell it. They're gonna either try to collect on it. They'll probably sometimes what they like to do is the creditors, or especially if it's like a buy here, pay here, they will keep the loan open and you're not paying on it. And so what it's doing is they're allowing it to incur.
Accrue.
Yeah, they're allowing it to accrue all these late payments. So now it's 180 days late, and you have like 15 of them because you haven't paid them in 2 years. And it just keeps reporting. And then sometimes, if they're nice, they'll do it a couple of times, and then they're like, okay, we'll just sell it to a collection agency. And then, so
see, realtors aren't like car salesmen.
Yes,
we don't do that. We're telling you the truth.
Yes.
The truth.
The truth. Oh, wow.
So I do that. I do debt negotiations.
What about bankruptcies?
I do sometimes do bankruptcies on special occasions.
Have you had any success with bankruptcy?
So with the bankruptcies, it's very complex when dealing with them, and you have to go through 1,000,001 steps. Ms. Sandra brought up LexisNexis. That's when you would need to freeze your LexisNexis. Then you need to contact them directly because you're disputing a long time history of things that have actually been built up over possibly your whole entire lifetime. So they know actually where you lived, when you lived there, how long. LexisNexis knows everything pretty much. And when LexisNexis, yes,
the god of credit
they're
cards.
the god of credit cards, pretty much. And the credit bureaus are low, and LexisNexis is who they get their information from. So, I mean, you have to go through a whole entire program to get your bankruptcies removed, but you have an easier time when the information is inaccurate. So you want to.
You have an easier time. You have an easier time
when it's inaccurate. If it's reporting on your credit report inaccurately, you have an easier time removing them. However, if everybody has their ducks in a row, it's a little rougher for you to try to remove that item or to dispute it to get it off.
Can you get your credit report from LexisNexis?
LexisNexis do have reports on you. They do have a file on you, and you can request your LexisNexis report from LexisNexis.com
so that you can see exactly what the
information that they hold. Yeah,
that's good.
You can definitely check your LexisNexis and see the information that they're providing to lenders. They're providing to the credit bureaus. You can definitely pull that report.
Well, we know credit is a reflection of your character.
It is.
And so before the show started today, my daughter told me that, Mom, can I get your debit card rather? And I'm like, why? She's like, because I want to get something, but somebody stole my card, her credit card. Because I'm teaching her how to use credit. So from time to time, she has to put a certain amount, keep that 30%, that whole balance. And she says that somebody charged $300 from something called Smart Talk or something like that. And they also purchased from another store. I'm like, girl, who's been in your purse? Who's been hanging around?
Yes.
And she was like, you're always so quick to say somebody did this. What if my card just fell out of my purse? I said, okay, that's possible. And I didn't do it this time, so let's get that clear. I didn't accuse anybody, but I just feel like, young people, and they go so many places and they're careless, and they have all these friends. I didn't have no friend problems because I didn't have a lot of friends. So I've never had that problem, but anybody can steal from you.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to get her to see, that the character of the people that you may be hanging around, you may need to question that.
Absolutely.
Even though they're smiling and look good. So let's talk about fraud, because
it's big in Florida.
Because you have smiley friends around you, but when you're in the bathroom or chilling somewhere else where you're together, they can go into your purse and take a picture of your information, and that happened to me the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody charged $1,000 on my credit card,
Oh wow.
and Bank of America said, "Wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't have a history of going to these places. We know her character
Yeah.
of spending.
Mhm.
We know her spending character. This doesn't seem like her." So they reached out to me, and I'm like, "No, I didn't authorize that." So they denied it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would have been out
Yeah.
$1,000. So how do you deal with fraud? And I know you say the more inaccurate the information is, the easier it is.
Mm-hmm.
But is that something typically harder to
So
tackle?
okay, when you're tackling like identity theft or fraudulent accounts, something that in order for you to deem it, I want to say identity theft or something like that, they require a police report. So you have to go the extra mile to actually go above and beyond. Get your police report. If your identity's really been stolen, you're gonna go above and beyond. Get the police report. Or yeah, because a lot of times it's actually someone that you know, and you may not want to,
It might be Bubba.
Which means your
Right.
brother.
So Bubba Jr., even though his dad, it's his father, he wouldn't want to send his dad to jail. So,
Right.
or press charges against his dad. So he probably wouldn't go through the extra work of doing, getting a police report and, saying that his dad, so he would just more so focus on something a little bit different. But if it is someone that you have no idea who it is, you have no idea what happened, you definitely want to go through the person that's providing the service, whether it's Discover, and let Discover know, hey, this is fraud. This was not me. And they're gonna provide you with some documents, or you can request documents, even if they don't send them to you. You can ask them, hey, can you provide me with a letter stating that this account was reported as fraud, so that when it does come down to the reporting to your credit bureaus, you have a leg to stand on. You have the evidence that you can send to them for the accounts to be removed. So it's more about gaining your evidence, showing your proof that, hey, my identity was stolen. This was not me.
Good stuff. I'm so happy that you came today.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here, ladies.
All right. So if you are thinking of purchasing a home, or you may want to be an investor, I definitely was one that I owned 4 homes at one time. I'm not a big time investor, but I've had some of the down payment from credit cards. When I was living my best life with over 700 credit score, but I'm working my way back up there. So Elle is a very great resource over at Credit Made Easy, and they're located in Plantation. Give them the address.
The address is going to be 109 Suite A. It's on State Route 7, Plantation, Florida 33317.
Yes, and she actually, like again, I said, she works alongside and partners with 3-Dimensional Realty, with the broker over there, Abioya Romoshudo, who's a very, very good friend. They also do income taxes.
Yes, it is income tax time.
Yeah, so that's really a good structure, because as people come to do income taxes, you can assess their level of readiness to purchase, and then get them into a structure of credit building before they go and see our lender or your lender.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for joining us today, and thank you, Elle.
Thank you so for having me, ladies.
So which one of y'all treat? Because I see these credit cards. Let's go get some real wine.
So y'all tune in next week on Monday at 1. We'll see you. I drunk all mine. I was thirsty today.